After a long dragged out 7th season, it seems that the All Out War arc will be finally coming to our screens when The Walking Dead resumes later this year. Obviously, it wouldn't be a war without a few casualties along the way, so here are my 5 predictions for who will snuff it when things come to a head. This video will contain spoilers from the comics that may feature in the future of the show, and without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. Eric. I said there'd be comic spoilers during this video, so I'll start with a death that takes place on paper. That being the death of Eric, who is fatally shot in the head while storming a saviour outpost. Eric has always been a bit part character since his introduction on the show, and in fact for large parts of season 6 he went missing entirely and didn't really feature. Although he's still not been in the show for much of season 7, there have been a few instances every couple of episodes where the show has thrown in the odd scene of him and Aaron having a conversation, with the topic of discussion usually being about their relationship. Now to me this is an immediate red flag, as quite often characters on the show are only given time to talk about their relationships and feelings when the producers are lining them up to be killed. For example, just before Abe got the bat at the start of this season, he spent the episode prior talking to Sasha about the two of them having a baby and their future together. Simply put, when characters start showing feelings, it usually means they're going to die. Number 2. Jadis. With Jadis turning on Rick and his group during the season finale, it's possible that the lady with the really bad haircut could be another antagonist alongside Negan when the show resumes. I don't think there's enough content to be had from seeing Rick fight Negan and the Saviours to fill up 16 episodes, so we could see Rick having to battle the Junkyard crew as well. Although last time we saw her Jadis portrayed Rick, I still don't think that she and her people particularly like Negan, and I can see her switching sides once again. My prediction is that we will see her working for Negan for much of next season before she has a change of heart. She will attempt to redeem herself by helping Rick and co, at which point it will probably be too late and she will sacrifice herself in order to thwart Negan's plans. This will then see the Junkyard people rally behind Alexandria, Hilltop and Kingdom on the battlefield. Number 3. Tobin. Until I saw his character appear in the background scenes of a few episodes during the latest season, I genuinely forgot this guy even existed. For there to be real stakes during the war, there needs to be a decent number of deaths. And unfortunately, like the previously mentioned Aaron, Tobin is also an expendable extra. It really wouldn't surprise me if he died during the war, as his character doesn't really seem to be doing anything on the show. I mean, I can't even remember him having a line of dialogue this season. The showrunners don't seem to want to do anything with him, so it's a very easy option just to have him killed. And also, if you cast your minds back to season 6, he briefly had a romance with Carol. Now, although Carol seems to be finally ready to take up arms once again, having Tobin die could be the catalyst her character needs to fully go back to her old badass self. Number 4. Shiva. King Ezekiel's tiger Shiva is another character who dies during the comics All Out War arc. She perishes whilst heroically defending her master from a horde of zombies before being tragically eaten herself. There's a few reasons why I believe the show will also go down the comic book route in regards to Shiva. Firstly, killing off Shiva is going to play at the viewer's heartstrings. Look at it this way, the majority of us love animals. In fact, some people prefer animals to humans, therefore having an animal die is always going to strike up a few emotions from the viewer. I mean, there's pretty much an entire movie subgenre of films about dogs dying, so it's obviously something that people care about. The second reason is related to The Walking Dead's budget. Having Shiva on screen is obviously pretty damn expensive, which is probably one of the reasons her scenes have been quite limited in number so far. With All Out War also comes a lot of gunfights and action sequences, something that again costs money. I honestly can't see The Walking Dead continuously shelling out for a CG tiger, so expect Shiva to meet her end sooner rather than later. Number 5. Morgan. This is probably the one prediction that I'm the least sure about, but I've decided to include it nonetheless. The reason why I think we could see Morgan dying is simply because of the continual presence of Negan. Despite the majority of TV fans hoping that Negan will soon get a taste of his own medicine, his character is still currently alive in the comics, even a couple of years after the All Out War arc is finished. In the comics, after the war comes to an end, instead of killing Negan, Rick decides to throw him in a jail cell. Whilst I can actually find this scenario to be believable when reading the comics, I currently just can't see Rick reaching the same conclusion on the TV show. I find JDM's Negan to be a lot more cruel and horrid than the paper version. When reading the comics, I actually grew to like Negan over time. Whereas although I do enjoy seeing JDM on screen, I still don't like his character. He's a dick. I want him to die, and so do Rick and the majority of his people. I think throwing him in a cell after what he has done just wouldn't make sense, and wouldn't be something that Rick would do. That is unless, of course, Morgan dies. Although Morgan is currently in a fighting mood, I don't think it will be long before he grows tired of the horrors of war and reverts back to his old all life is precious mantra. I believe we could see him die, and his death will have a similar impact on Rick to when Dale died on Hershel's farm, by which I mean Rick will want to honour Morgan's legacy. And what better way to do that than by sparing his mortal enemy Negan, proving that even the most despicable person deserves to have a second chance. So there you have it, my 5 predictions for who will die during All Out War. Let me know what you think below, as well as your predictions, and as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.